Alright guys, Rich here from the RC Network, and this is going to be my after first run review on the Team Durango DESC10. This is Team Durango's newest 1/10 scale 4-wheel drive short course truck. Now with that, I ran this thing very hard, and I've got to say this thing is awesome. And with that, this is kind of a new segment of RC, the real heavyweight short course trucks that have kind of like an 8-scale platform to them, and that's what this Team Durango definitely has. Now I did put about 2 packs through this truck. Nothing broke. It was super fun to drive. I made almost zero adjustment to this thing after setting it to the box stock recommended manual spec, and it really drove great. And hopefully you guys already checked out my running video of this thing. It was really a pleasure to drive. Now with that, a couple of things that don't come with the kit. Of course, the body does not come with it. This is the Proline Flowtech body. Cut this thing out, painted it up, gave it kind of a 4th of July type feel here, and the body did great. And the thing that you'll notice when you drive a heavier short course truck is you don't get too much parachuting effect. With that, I did go ahead and opt to cut out some of the rear cutouts here just to give it some airflow and not have any parachute effect. But with driving a heavyweight one like this one, you definitely will feel a difference. Now with the wheels and tires, I ran DE Racing's 17mm hubbed Trinidad wheels. Pretty much not too much on the market for 17mm wheels. There's these, the SC8s from Team Associated, and a couple other ones out there, but great wheels. They worked out great. I did run the whole shot tires. I think I announced them as the snipers before, but these are actually the whole shots, soft compound, super small pin, and they're wearing out quick on this heavyweight truck. So definitely recommend going to a medium compound or maybe even like a blockade for where I'm going to be running this at. So, but I had great traction nonetheless. Other things that this kit does not come with any electronics, and we'll be hitting that here very shortly. Now I did leave this thing quite dirty for you guys because I always get these questions that, do you actually run the vehicles at the RC Network? And I absolutely do. I run the crap out of these things. So, you know, definitely took some spills, some flips, some volleys, and the body did great. So no complaints on the Flowtech body here. Now on over to the actual chassis. I did a weigh-in right before I started this video, and you'll see here I'm running 8-scale electronics on 4S LiPo. That's that big track power right there, the 6700 milliamp 90C battery. I'm going to go ahead and lift this thing up for you guys too. The electronics did great, and that is kind of like the downfall of this rig, is it's very heavy. This thing weighs in at 8.89 pounds right now, the way it's sitting. Full battery, full electronics, the body, clips, everything else. So very, very heavy rig, but it handled great. And on 4S power, this thing was super rocking. So with that, I am running that track power battery, 6700 milliamp, plenty of power. 90C burst or constant is on this thing, so you can just do the math on that. So anyways, great battery, worked out pretty good. Now you're going to notice that there's no Velcro straps here. Well, Team Durango only gives you Velcro straps that'll fit a 2S LiPo, so I kind of had to borrow the ones from my Techno EB 48.3 to wrap onto this thing. So need to pick up some more Velcro straps. I'll do that shortly. So anyways, as far as the other electronics here, the Team Orion electronics were just awesome. Super smooth. A little bit tough to program at first, but in the end, everything worked out great. So the R8.1 Pro, awesome. This is the 690 VST2, 2100 kV. Did a great job as well. Super smooth. Just really handled the throttle. No issues on this heavier weight vehicle. I'm running the BLS 371 from Futaba. Plenty of power with that ProTech aluminum horn. Now, what you guys came for is the actual review on this short course truck, not the electronics and everything else that didn't come with it. Now, I've got to say that it drove great and nothing broke, and that's always a good day in RC. The things that I did not like about the vehicle, at least from the time that I built it up until this point, the one gaping thing is that motor mount. Now, if you guys know about the new motor mount system, they actually bolt the motor to the chassis, so the motor doesn't move anymore. The way to set your pinion mesh is you have to unbolt several screws from the underside of this and move the whole center diff over, increasing the angle, and you're dealing with 4 to 5 screws instead of just 1 or 2 screws on the motor mount. So I don't like it right out of the gate. Maybe that'll change in time, but I found when I was trying to set my pinion and I was changing it out at the track, it's tough to set, and you don't always get this thing perfectly straight over. It kind of wiggles around on you, dirt gets in there, it gets gritty, all sorts of issues. So I'm not a fan of it so far. Maybe it's just me not getting used to it yet. I'm not sure. So that is probably my biggest glaring issue with this truck so far. Other than that, let's go over from stem to stern and see what else I like about it. The shocks, 16 millimeter big bore shocks. Look at those things. They're monstrous. They're huge, and they definitely held up to this almost 9-pound rig. You'll see here they are all aluminum bodied. They have aluminum caps. Just everything you'd want in a heavy 8-scale sized vehicle. So they did great. As far as the CVDs and also the pillow ball suspension, I was really apprehensive to like a pillow ball suspension setup. Now, I've ran these things on a few ARMA vehicles before and also another OFNA vehicle, and I've always found that once you run it and you set it back on flat thing here and start to do this, you'll start hearing friction, you'll start hearing creaking. This one doesn't do it. I have not cleaned this thing at all, and it's super smooth. So great job on the pillow balls here. They were set up perfectly out of the box with the kind of assembled components, and they did a great job. So the upper arms here also were awesome. The sway bar setup was perfect. Everything else worked out great. Now with these turnbuckles, these are huge 5 millimeter turnbuckles here. You'll kind of see those in the very bottom there. Super strong, no issues with those whatsoever. They hold up very good. On down here, I did get a little bit of splatter here on the center diff. Now if you remember, the center diff came pre-assembled, and I had to unassemble it and put diff fluid in it. Got just a little bit of splatter there. I'm going to have to investigate what that is, but in the end, everything kind of held together pretty good. Now towards the rear of this thing, great rear end of this truck. It held up great. I didn't see a need to have aluminum hub carriers. Everything else was great. I really dig the CVDs and also the 17 millimeter hubs. It's just nice to have just quality components, when you're bolting this up, and not those little tiny 7 millimeter nuts on a heavyweight rig like this. So I see why they put the 17 millimeter hubs. It just makes sense in this heavy of a vehicle. Now with that, I do think that Team Durango should have included at least wheels in this rig. The wheels aren't the easiest thing to find, and not too many people make them, so it would have been nice if we just got that included in the box. There's no tires, of course, there's no electronics, there's no body. Give us, literally $6 in the wheels. That would be cool. But that's it, guys. That is my after first run review here of my Team Durango DESC10. I can't wait to get more drive time with this thing. It was just an absolute pleasure to drive. I enjoyed it. My buddy Derek enjoyed filming this thing. And I've got to say, I think Team Durango really hit the nail on the head, even with a couple of the issues that I found, or, little things, little tiny things. In the end, great truck. Can't wait to drive it more. Well, guys, if you have any more comments or questions, please feel free to post those on down below. And as always, thumbs up and subscribe. That's it for now, guys. Over and out.